Almost 2 years ago, you sat right here with me. You told me the one thing you wanted was to have a good film, to go into pictures, to gain actress acceptance. In The Rose, you play a character who gets a lot, but has really not been very happy. Has it all been worthwhile? You've attained almost everything you set out to do 2 years ago.
Has it been worthwhile? I think so. It's been a lot of fun. Making that film was the happiest time of my life. It really was. I was surrounded by people who adored me and were very committed to making the film. And it was a very joyous experience. It was the big scenes, you know, the crowd scenes, these scenes with thousands and thousands of people. It was so exciting. I can't tell you what a charge it was. Really quite unforgettable. I'll never get over it. Yes, it was worth it, absolutely.
Is there any kind of a letdown now that you've achieved what you wanted to do artistically?
A little bit, not a big one, just a little valley, you know. You sort of think, well, how am I going to top this, you know? Because it was, for me, a real breakthrough. I got to change my style of music, and people said, well, the broad can act, you know, and they had never thought of me like that before. But now I have the choice. I have so many things to choose from. It's very hard to know. You don't want to make a mistake after you've spent a long time building a thing up, you know, like a career or something. You feel every brick in the wall, you know, is like you take special care to make sure that your little wall is built properly. And then when you finally are done with it, you sort of stand on the top of it and look around for something else to build. And you want the next thing to be as beautiful as the last. It's very hard. It's not confusion. It's not confusion. It's the realm of possibilities is so vast that can be sort of overwhelming. That's the word, overwhelmed.
I get the feeling, though, that you're really suffering from a fear syndrome, that maybe it will all disappear, that maybe you weren't really deserving of all this wonderful adoration, this wonderful success that you now have.
Me? Are you kidding? I deserve it all. I work like a mule. But everybody feels that way. I think everyone has a little bit of trepidation. I feel I'm a pretty regular person, you know. I have a little, you know, schizophrenic bit like everybody, but I do have fears, but I think they're pretty normal fears. When I sit back and look at all this money and all this glamour, what glamour? That's the part I'm missing. I'm so tired of sweeping floors, Lord. The money's great, I'll tell you that, and people treat you terrifically. They're really kind, and you could wake up some morning and say, whoa, this is a little excessive compensation. But you know, there are things that you do go through. There's a certain amount of pain that you put yourself through, and there's a certain amount of anxiety. There's a certain amount. You do have to work hard. I had to work very hard on this thing, and I've worked very hard on the career, so I do feel it. Yeah, I feel like I deserve it as much as the next fellow. That's what I feel. As much as the next fellow. I've worked as hard as the next person.
Is work your life?
Hey, get the shovel. Yes. Is work my life? Well, it used to be my life because I was very fantasy-oriented, and I had this dream that was really crippling me for so many years, and that was the dream that I would be a great actress and that I would be loved because I was contributing to the national culture like an Ethel Barrymore, or a Katharine Hepburn, but I don't really feel that that's available to me. I feel that I've gone very far, but I feel that show business, as much as I love it and as much as I'm enamored of it, it's just a microcosm of what really goes on in the world. And I find I wake up in the morning nowadays because I've done this, I've managed to finish this dream sequence, of becoming an actress and a personality and all that. I feel I look around for other pastures and other things like the way other people live, the way people who have no show business live. You know, I find I'm interested in other cultures. I find I'm interested in opening a laundromat. I find I'm interested in real life now. Now that I've finished the fantasy, I find myself looking around for real life, and I'm very excited at the idea of being regular again, you know, like being, just letting it go and being regular.
Regular life.
Regular life, real life.
That brings up, though, a serious question for me. In this past year especially, it seems to me that on one hand, Bette, you achieved everything artistically, and on the other hand, personally. You gave up a manager.
Yes.
You lost your mom.
Yes. That
Your
was really
dad's
hard.
not feeling well.
Well, he's okay. He's
Okay.
not that bad.
Do you
What
have
else?
a few other things? I don't know how your personal life has been, but I think it's been rather up and down.
Yeah, but it's hasn't been bad. Hasn't been too bad. The worst part was losing my mom. That was very, very rough.
Do you
That's
have
still
any,
rough.
I guess my question to you is, do you have any way of putting all this drama in any kind of real perspective? How does one deal with the great highs and then the great lows?
You don't deal with them. You just, it's like being a body surfer. You catch the wave and ride the wave until the wave is over. You don't, it's very, very hard to say, well, this is what I'm going to do, and, you know, and that kind of fierce, violent concentration of getting, I don't do it that way. I try to relax and work through it, you know, and get through those rough spots. Because I know it's, all those cliches are, exist because that's the way life is. I mean, cliches do have a basis in fact. It's always darkest before the dawn. Look for the silver lining. I mean, that stuff is in our lives because it's absolutely applicable.
Yes, but when it became applicable to you, what did you think?
I try to relax. I really do try to relax. I try not to get violently upset about almost anything except real things like losing someone that you love very much. Occasionally, you know, in your creative work, the memory of someone you love or the memory of the times you've shared can be very helpful in creation, in creativity, in learning the meaning behind a song or understanding the heart of a certain kind of character. That's why I'm always glad to have those people, even if you lose them, you know. It's always good to have them for a little while. I use it all. I try to use it all.
Why are your eyes tearing?
I think because I have a hangover from that other, that telephone scene I've been choking back. I like that scene. I rather like that scene. That's my favorite scene in the film.
The tears have been coming from the moment that stopped.
Yeah,
and
it
you've
was
been
very
holding them back,
sweet.
and I didn't want to ask you, but now I have to ask you because they're coming again.
Well, I have very weak eyes, you see, and the lights are in them. I like that scene.
What does it remind you of?
Well, it reminds me of a lot of things. There were two lines in that. You always do this to me, Rona. You always do this. I'm never going to come on this show again. Give me your hem. Here. This is mean. Well, it was very, very moving. The whole evening, you know, when we shot it, it was very, very moving, and everyone was. It was just lovely. It brings back, you know, the shooting of it and all the people on it and the memory. Oh, it's very sweet. And then, of course, there's the with the memory that I used when I was doing the scene. That whenever I see it, it brings all that back, and it's.
Well, it seems so real, Bette.
Well, it was.
Really
It
real.
was. Well, to be honest, it was very real. It always comes back. Can we go on to something a little more cheerful now?
Bette, there's only one thing to say. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm still sniffling.